Hello everybody, this is my first video on YouTube, and I have a feeling I'm either going to be welcomed as a heretic, or an idiot, or both, because I'm about to get a little quirky. Basically I have this belief, and that is a belief that God evolved. Okay. And that I'm not talking about a Christian Judeo God that hovers around in the sky and judges on a throne and has a big beard and all that nonsense. I'm not talking about that kind of God. I'm merely talking about a being that is omniscient, omnipotent, benevolent, and all-knowing. Now, there are people out there who say, well, there just simply isn't a God. And I say to these people, well, you can't say that because that's an absolute negative. That's just like saying there's no pink trees anywhere in the universe. You can't say that because you haven't seen the whole universe yourself. You're making an absolute claim for something that you as a limited being cannot say there is or isn't. And I know someone out there is thinking, oh boy, apparently this idiot hasn't heard the spaghetti monster analogy. Well, I think it'll be funny in the future when the technology becomes available that a geneticist will make a giant spaghetti monster, and as the carcasses of dead animals are being fed to it in the background, and during his interview, the geneticist will smile, look in the camera, and says, well, I guess there goes that analogy. In other words, given time, given evolution, a lot of weird stuff can happen. And so basically, my belief is that that over time, through various obstacles and contingencies, life becomes more and more and more intelligent because it becomes threatened with more and more problems. And as it becomes more and more intelligent, it begins to change in ways that drastically alter what it essentially is. And I think that could have happened to a God somewhere. I think it's possible that an omniscient being evolved in the universe. And if you think that sounds unlikely, just look at us. We evolved from lower animals. We evolved from monkeys and apes or whatever. And here we are. And we're self-conscious. And when I say self-conscious, I don't mean like we're, like monkeys, we can just look at ourselves in the mirror and recognize that, oh, that's me. I'm talking about the ability to be able to self-reflect, construct your own identity, and just kind of ruminate about what the meaning of life is. That, I think, a monkey can't do. But we certainly can. Now, if hundreds of thousands of years can evolve into self-consciousness, could a few 100,000 years more evolve into omniscience? Is it possible that somewhere there were a race of very highly intelligent beings that worked out technologies that helped them to go across space-time and work transdimensionally and all that? And let's say that they even made a system of logic, a system of symbols that is even more advanced than mathematics and represents reality in ways that are much more complicated than math ever could. And let's say that over time they just kind of evolved and evolved and evolved to the point where through playing around with all these things in the universe, they started to self-engineer their own evolution and eventually found a way to become non-physical. And at that point you might find something that appears to be supernatural, but isn't, because it is the result of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years of evolution. And I just think it's possible that somewhere in the universe there is an omniscient, omnipotent being that evolved and is aware of everything that is going on. And I'm not saying that there is or isn't a being like this. I'm just throwing it out as a hypothesis. Is it possible that since we, as beings, that since we've evolved from lower life forms, that somewhere else in the universe, life forms have evolved higher than us and have evolved so much to the point that they become metaphysical? Is that out of the question? And if it's out of the question, why? And also, could a God come out of that? Please keep the discourse polite. Tell me what you think, because I don't know if I might, someone else might have thought of this already, and I just don't know. I mean, I read, but I haven't read everything. So if there's someone who said something similar, please point me towards him so I can read his book. So just tell me, and I'll be open, and I'm open to all arguments. And but if I disagree with you, if you don't convince me, you'll hear back from me. But if you convince me that I'm wrong, or that there's some illogical about my hypothesis, and you convince me, I'll agree with you, because I'm fair like that. But anyway, just tell me what you think. Thanks.